We are going to have around 15 videos in this series of MBA interview preparation. Here is the first video, a general approach towards MBA interview preparation, the macro view. In any interview that you face in your lifetime, remember that it boils down to two main things. You have to convince the interviewer on number one, you are good enough, and number two, you are deeply interested. Remember these two main things, whether it is your MBA interview today or your job interview tomorrow or any other interview you would ever face in your life, it boils down to these two main things. If you are able to convey that you are good enough and you are deeply interested, you are going to stand a very, very strong chance. So whatever you prepare, whatever you say in the interview, at the crux, it is about these two main things. Keep them in mind. Now let's get on to the big picture regarding your general approach towards MBA interview preparation. There are 5 main aspects. Let me summarize the 5 aspects and then I will elaborate on each one of them. Number 1, have the correct mindset. Number 2, gain clarity about yourself, about why you need an MBA and what are your career goals. Number 3, have stories to tell. Number 4, know your key giveaways to the interviewer. And number 5, practice. Let's get to the number 1, having the correct mindset. Most importantly, please don't be scared. Understand that preparation is possible. Our module is anyway going to help you. Number 2, don't consider interview an obstacle in your path towards an MBA program. Consider this a part of the process. Consider this an opportunity to express yourself, help the MBA admission committee know you better. This entire very meaningful journey from GMAT to application to the interview process is a part of your pursuit for management education. It is a prelude to your MBA, and the interview process in particular helps you a lot in your MBA job interviews. Do the groundwork, and when you go for the interview, feel and sound ready for it. To the interviewer, showcase your eagerness to take up management education and the willingness to go on to become a worthy business manager, a leader who will be a fine alumnus to the business school. View this interview as a discussion and not a viva. For many of us, this may be the first interview of its kind. Remember, these global B-school interviews are different from the typical academic or subject matter driven interviews that we may have faced so far. These interviews are a lot about having a candid discussion and talking about one's background, one's aspirations, the requirement of management education in general, and the inspiration for attending the specific B school that you are interviewing for. Number 2, gain clarity. Gain clarity about yourself. More often than not, the first question that you receive is on the lines of tell me something about yourself. Either this specific question or something on the lines of run me through your resume or tell me a bit about your current job, something on those lines. You must have a 2-minute summary for such questions. This may very well define the course of your interview. You must know your career highlights really well. All specific, concrete, quantifiable items on your career, your strengths, your areas of improvement, your functional area and industry, the recent trends, challenges, and the trajectory that your functional area or the industry is going to see over the next decade or so. And in this particular domain, please sound very confident. I very often see students getting very nervous when questions are asked about their functional area or industry. Ideally, you have experience in your field and you would know so much more about your own functional area and industry. And if the questions are on those lines, please don't feel nervous. Feel all the more confident about such questions. In the future videos, I would be talking about each of these aspects in detail. This video is for the macro view, so remember these 5 broad points for now. The next is gaining clarity about why you need an MBA. Somehow, this is the most difficult question that the candidates find, that why do they need an MBA? They work so hard for their GMAT, are willing to leave their job, go spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but somehow they do not have a concrete answer to the why MBA question. If you don't have an answer, don't worry. Most of the students don't have an answer to this question. Just follow our guidance carefully. Your why MBA answer must answer 3 specific questions. Why this is the best time to pursue an MBA? What will be your key takeaways from the MBA program? And why are you interested in the specific school that you are interviewing for? Cover these 3 points and you will have a rich answer ready. In the future videos, I would be elaborating a lot on this one. For now, just remember these 3 main points that you must address in the why MBA question. Next, gain clarity about your career goals. Most importantly, a specific profile and industry on graduation. Avoid generic answers such as a managerial role with an esteemed organization. Be specific about the profile and the industry. Thereafter, have mid-term and long-term career goals, something like 10 years after graduation and around 20 years after graduation. And some sort of an impact that you wish to leave on your industry or functional area in your lifetime. When you talk about the impact you wish to make, rather than just talking about a particular position that you want to have in a particular type of industry, you are talking about giving back. Remember, business schools seek visionary leaders. So if you are able to show a vision in your career plans, that is going to separate you from the regular interviewees. Most candidates don't have a vision and impact to talk about. In case you have not already thought about it, it's time you did so now. Next, have stories to tell. Remember, one fine example is worthier than a dozen claims. Have clear, concrete examples that show you in action. Have good 3 to 5 stories ready before you go for your MBA interview. The stories can be on these lines: a leadership story, a professional challenge story, cross-cultural story, cross-functional story, ethical dilemma story, failure story, overcoming an adversity story, and so on. Think deep on these lines and you will be surprised to see yourself that how wonderful stories you have been a part of in your life so far. Remember, very often these stories can be outside your professional sphere as well. Next, have clear giveaways to the interviewer. Most importantly, make a list of 20 things you would want to tell the admissions committee. So if there were only one question in the interview, tell 20 things about yourself, what those 20 bullet points would be. Make this list. This will help you a lot in various questions across your interview. The 20 points can be from any of these spheres. Please pause the video and read these carefully and prepare your notes along these lines. Next, very importantly, practice. Rehearse in front of a mirror. Have an approach. Please do not have a script. You cannot cram all the answers. You need to have a broad idea of what you want to tell the interviewer. With that approach, go confidently for your interview. Record yourself. If you are going to be on a Skype interview, sit in front of a computer and see yourself speaking. Record and see what you can improve in your style. If possible, get yourself a mentor who can guide you. If not a mentor, at least have a buddy with whom you can practice. Relax on the eve of the interview. Very often we see students being very anxious one day before the interview. Avoid that. Avoid any stress or anxiety one day before the interview. And last, in case you are interviewing with multiple schools, remember the first real interview can be a great learning experience. Please retrospect and improve upon your performance. Use the first interview experience as a great learning tool and apply that learning in all the subsequent interviews. So that was the concept, guys. To get complete grasp over your MBA interview preparation, please watch all the 15+ videos in this series. Thanks for watching.